Hey folks, it's Nessa here on Infinitely Zero's channel. So, I wanted to do a review for you guys. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but still not feeling well and been really busy. But anyways, I had bought some of the all-in-one yarns from Yarnspirations from Red Heart. This new one just recently came out, which is the all-in-one Quilt Motif, which is for corner-to-corner squares. So I'm going to be showing that. I'm going to be showing the first ones that have already come out. Stop that. As well as, sorry, the dog was licking the plastic bag of the yarn. She's not supposed to do. And I was going to show some of the older ones and some of the new ones, which are the Red Heart All-in-One Grande, which are the big granny squares, and the All-in-One Red Heart Petite, which are the little petite squares, as well as the flower power. Anyway, so I wanted to say hi and welcome and thank you to my returning watchers and subscribers. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome to my new watchers and subscribers. Thanks so much for coming. And if you like the content on my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please click the like button and click the join plus if you would like to subscribe. Also, I have memberships. It's the same button. Subscription, if you choose to subscribe, is free. And thank you so much for my members for being here and for your continued support. It helps a lot. So, anyways, on to talk about this. Okay, so they, I don't know if it was last month, but you know, recently-ish. I'm not exactly sure the exact date. Yarnspirations, which is the big company that owns Red Heart, Super Saver, plus Bernat, Peyton, Coates and Clark's, they're all owned by Yarnspirations. So, and I had ordered this from their site. So this is the Yarnspirations Red Heart quilt all-in-one motif. So you don't have to, you know, all the colors. It's self-striping yarn. It's just the color changes are set up so that you can do these patterns and you don't have to carry around all the different skeins of the different colors, right? All the different balls of yarn. So, yeah, they call it no color switching, keep on stitching. I believe maybe there's like, oh, let me check real quick. I think it's 9 colorways for this new all-in-one quilt yarn. I'm double checking that right now to make sure. Let me see. They're all under the Red Heart all-in-one yarns in their website. Okay, so apparently it's 12 different colorways they have available. I'm not going to go through them all on this video, but I will show the ones that I have that I ordered that I was curious about. So this colorway is called Lineage. And it's a cream color with like a golden yellow, a pretty brown, and a green. It's sort of like an olive green. They determine how much color is in which how much color is in each section. They recommend a 5.5 millimeter USI 9 crochet hook. They have that free pattern on their website, and I think on the label, or if not that QR code, they say it takes 5 balls of this yarn to make that, and they have another one which is a bit bigger, which is sort of like an illusion one, which is, they say 8 skeins to make it. In each skein, oh, and it does have the Oka Tech Standard 100 on here. It says it's actually made in India, and it's classified as a number 4 weight medium yarn, worsted weight. Again, it's like machine wash, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius. Knitting needle recommended is a 5 millimeter US 8. It has the gauge on here. It makes a 10 by 10 inch square. And they say 1 skein of this makes 5 squares. And in the picture, they show you what the squares look like for that color. So this is what I'm reading to you there. And that'll depend and that's what these squares look like. It'll depend what your tension is and your gauges. It's which hook will work for you to do it in the correct size. Again, if you want it to line up, you have to follow their pattern for the, corner to corner. This is called corner to corner because it's worked from one corner up. The other thing about this, so what was my experience with it and how does it feel? So, it feels kind of like Red Heart. It feels like Red Heart Super Saver. It's a little softer than the regular Red Heart Super Saver. I believe it'll vary by the colors, which happens with Red Heart Super Saver too. Depending the colors, it's how rough it feels or how less rough it feels. And at least I haven't tried it for these yet, but for regular Red Heart Super Saver, if you wash it with fabric softener, it softens up. I've heard some people say vinegar, but I've never tried it. So anyways, so yeah, so to get this, sometimes you may have to change your hook size and use, if you tend to crochet loose, which I do, I go a hook size down. So I use the 5mm H8 crochet hook. I will say, so I started with that here, which is, so it starts like this, it starts down here, right? So that was the 5, and then when I got to do this second white strip, I noticed I had too much left over with the 5, so I had to actually switch over to the 5.5mm, and that was working fine for me. I mean, I had to redo a certain rows a few times over and over, like, to get it right, so that I wasn't, changing colors in the wrong places and all that, but it wasn't too bad. The other thing I will say is that I noticed when I was like around here and I hadn't started decreasing and I was like short like that much yarn, then I decided, let me count the rows and check the pattern again, and it turned out that I had to decrease. So actually, once I actually did decrease for it, then it worked out for my color change of how much color I needed. And I also sort of time the color changes later. I realized that around here that it looked better if I still had a little bit left of the color that I'm currently working on to do the last slip stitches over, so that they come out the same color and you don't have this happening like that. That might not bother you, but if it does, sort of play with it and figure out the yarn and maybe, do 3 or 4 squares before it tighter, right? If you're a tight crocheter, you may want to see if the 5.5mm works for you, or go up to the 6mm, whatever works for you, and you see how you have the yarn. So when they created the Flower Power, the new bigger granny squares and the smaller petite one, as well as this quilt yarn, they actually leave you a substantial amount left of that last color, so that you can either, they say for seaming, but I guess if you have enough, you might be able to do a border for it. They did not do this for the first all-in-one granny squares that came out, and I think folks complained. And this also gives you a little more leeway too, in case you were like running short with yarn when you were ending. I will say that it said to start with like 4mm for your tail, 4 inches, which was like really like barely any yarn. It was like really short. So, that's up to you if you want to leave a little more and change your hook size and play with that or not. But having this little bit of extra leeway helps, right? And it's nice. So I think it came out quite nice. I will say, I think around, one of these rows or something, I had to change the hook size and back, but overall it wasn't too bad. It's not too stiff. I think my stitches look nice. Would I buy it again? I'm not sure. I did buy some other colors. I'll show those. and if I think it's worth it for a project. I mean, right now I'm doing very limited crochet, and I'm not supposed to like move my left, you know, like my left arm's supposed to rest, so it was quite hard to try to crochet just in general. So these took me quite a while to make, but yeah. So again, this is Lineage. Let me see the other one that I bought. I got this colorway, which is pretty browns and cream. And this colorway is called Roots, and it's the same specification. Oh, I don't think I told you the yardage. Sorry. They're 100% acrylic. The net weight is I'm sorry, that's really small. I think it's 8.8 ounces. 250 grams, 440 yards, or 402 meters. And the specs are all the same. So that's what I had read to you guys. This is what this square looks like. So it's a nice cream color with like this lighter brown, a darker brown, and then like a reddish brown. Kind of like a rust color, like a dark rust color. Yeah, and this one's called Roots again. I thought it'd be cool, you know, to have a few that at least have the off-white, you know, so if I wanted to do different squares with one color that's the same. Also on Yarnspirations site, if you go there, under the section where they have the info about these all-in-one yarns, they have a website there that says what the Red Heart Super Saver colors match up to their all-in-one yarns. I haven't checked to see if they have the latest new ones in there, but I know they had it for their regular all-in-one Granny Square and the Flower Power. Okay. And the third colorway of this all-in-one quilt yarn I got is called the Heirloom. So this is the Heirloom colorway. And this is the white with a lighter, sorry about my hair hanging out there. A lighter beige kind of color there with a gray, like a lighter gray, and then a black, which is pretty cool. And that's what that color, what that square looks like there. I mean, I think this is convenient if you're traveling, right? You can do your project, you can have multiple colors, it changes on it, it changes it for you. You don't have to weave in all those ends and cut up all that yarn. And you just take one skein of yarn, right? And you can make, you know, those 5 squares that you needed, or depending, you know, which of the other all-in-ones you have is how many of the motif you can make with it. So personally, I don't like weaving in ends and cutting all that yarn and all that stuff with color change. Like, I like having color changes, but I don't like weaving in ends. So I rather mess with it and get my gauge right. At least you're practicing that your tension is even. So that's a plus. And I think for people who, they even have videos to make it easier if it's like a beginner, like how to do the stitches and all that. So those were the all-in-one quilt ones, right? I had also bought, I had seen it, it's the Bernat blanket all-in-one Granny Square yarn. I gotta be honest, I did not like this one as much. So, you know, the holes are big. It's a harder, sorry, had it upside down. It's a harder yarn to work with. And I don't like how the colors transition. With their Bernat blanket patchwork yarn, the transitions are nice and they happen like within the same strand of yarn. And it's a nice color thing. This one is sort of jogged. Anyways, let me read you the specs. So this is their all-in-one blanket granny. Now the QR, the code there for the pattern, they're saying 3 balls of these, 3 cakes make a baby blanket and 5 make a blanket. It doesn't say the size of the blanket, so you probably have to check that on their website. I can't remember how, let's see how many colors they have of this. They have a total of also 12 colors. So it looks when they first launch these that they usually have 12 colors. This colorway is called Asphalt. It's a pretty, it's like a cream color, like an off-white color with a beige, with a dark gray, and with like this color, which is sort of like a, sorry, I meant this color, which is sort of like a darker taupe. And they have their free patterns on their site. This one's a number 6 super bulky yarn. It's recommending 8mm US 11 knitting needles, 8mm US L11 crochet hook. Also, again, the OACO Tex Standard 100 machine washable and dryable. They say 1 ball of these makes 4 squares, 100% polyester yarn, 8.5 ounces or 240 grams. And it's 178 yards or 163 meters. These are smaller than the regular larger Bernat blanket skeins, which are, I think, 210 yards or 212, something like that. I was like, don't quote me on that. And where is this made? It says patent pending. Made in China. So, and this is what I just read to you guys. Sorry, not to make you dizzy. There you go. And this is what I mean about the joins. Yeah, not a fan. I mean, I sort of tugged on it and it didn't come apart, but it's like ugly. So, sorry, I'm trying to show you the next join. See? So, I guess it's like half broken and stitched in there. This is what my square looks like. That's like, sorry, that was the reverse. That's like a lot of holes. And it's big and bulky. Oh, again, with this and with the other squares I show, if you actually, when you do the chain 4 and slip stitch to the first chain, if you actually work the rest, like that first row, on top of your tail, you can cinch your tail closed and you don't have to do a magic circle. Just let you know. It's a nice little trick. So, yeah, you see in the back, you kind of see where the joins are, like that. So, initially, I tried to do with the 7mm hook, and it didn't work for me, so I actually had to use the 8mm hook. And sometimes had to change my tension to be looser so that I would make, you know, I wouldn't have like a ton left over of each, you know, color, and that the color changes were okay. I really don't particularly like in their pattern how they do their beginning of rows, where you sort of like slip stitch and then you have like this bulky area. But I mean, I'm just being picky. And the nice thing with, you know, after the first design with these other ones is that they leave you, I think this was like 24 inches or something like that. The other one for the quilt motif, they recommend in the pattern that you're left over with, let me see. Oh, did I close it? I closed it. No, there it is. They even have a chart when you're doing the pattern. They say you should be left with around 42 inches or 106.5 centimeters after your final round. So, and that'll vary by whichever of the yarns that you're using. But yeah, so that's what this looks like in a square form. I hope that's helpful. And that's like how much yarn is left. Well, how much yarn was left for me. That's going to change by your tension and how you crochet and all that. So stick that back in there. Okay, next to show you guys. And I didn't buy other ones of that color because I thought I might not like it. So that's what it is. I only bought one of this little petite because I thought I might not like it. Actually, I liked it a lot more than I thought. So, and I did go to use a 5mm H8 crochet hook, if I'm remembering correctly. This is the new Red Heart Granny Square Petite. Again, no color stitching, no color switching, keep on stitching. These make little squares. The squares are only, they're granny squares. They're only 3 rounds. 3 rows. So this one skein of this makes 32 squares. The specs are the same, the 440 yards, 100% acrylic, and what they recommend to do. This colorway is called Dark Side. Very appropriate. It's a light gray with a darker gray and then black. They show on here what the square looks like. And again, all the specs are, whoops, there they are. All the specs are the same for this. You know, it just changes what, this is also made in India. It just changes what type of motif you can make for it. So this one was designed for these smaller squares. They're cute. And this is what I had, whoops, what I had left over of that last color when I finished. So a good amount, you know, to seam or do a little extra. But yeah, I think I liked it. But you see what I mean? It's like a really little end tail to weave in. And that's sort of how it looks, how it stripes. Okay, next is their all-in-one Granny Square Grande yarn, which means big square. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you. This little square is supposed to be, shoot, I think it's 4 inches. I can't find the tape measure right now. I think it should say on their website. This one also is just in 12 colors. Yeah, again, 250 grams, 8.8 ounces. Okay, they're 4-inch granny squares. So, yeah, they say one skein makes 32 of these 4-inch little squares. There you go. Okay, next. So this makes, the Grande makes 12-inch squares. So I did have to make my tension tighter towards the end so that I would have more yarn left over, like how the pattern said, because I wanted to show you for the video. So I think it said like 42 inches left over, which I thought was a lot, but that's all the yarn until, you know, the new color change. And when you do these yarns, it's recommended that you pull out so that you pull out enough yarn so that you see the next color, so that you can calculate as you're going whether you have to tighten a little bit your tension or loosen. So this is, and again, like I mentioned, it was just like a little bit there. You know, when you cinch it, you can tighten it up, tighten up the hole. This is the Grandiose colorway. And it's a nice medium blue in the middle. Sorry, I'll stop moving it. Medium blue in the middle, then a darker purple, then a lighter tone of blue with a light kind of mauve purple, and then a darker purple tone with like a periwinkle color for the outside, sort of ish. And that's how it looks in the cake. Sorry, in the skein. It's late, I'm tired. And they have pretty pictures of some of their other squares, and this makes 12-inch square. And the specifications are the same, and they say this skein of yarn, 1 makes 4 squares. So that's a big difference between 32 and 1, right? The pattern is the same for their Granny Square pattern, like for the small or for the big. It's just, or they're all in one. It just varies how many rounds you're doing. And this one you come out with doing, sorry, that's my back. This is my front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on. 10 rounds. So there you go. I like it that I didn't have to weave in all these ends. There was no yarn cutting. I'll just have 2 ends to weave in, right? My last one, my beginning, where instead it would have been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ends to weave in. If it was done traditionally, right, with all the different skeins of yarn. But like I said, I think it's really convenient that I just take this and I can just do the squares, and I just carry one, you know, one skein with me, right? Not that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors that I didn't have to carry six different skeins of different colors with me. So I bought this one as well for the Grande yarn. I do not have a square made up with it. It's beautiful, like 2 different yellows and an orange, and then a darker brownish orange, like pumpkin color, dark pumpkin. And this colorway is called Humdinger. Humdinger. So it's really pretty. And again, it shows on the label what the square is going to look like, so I think that is very helpful. So yeah, next. So I ordered, it was called Full Spectrum for the Grande yarn, and it was actually very similar to this colorway without the pink. With the pink, they sent me the wrong one. This is Cat's Meow. So you know, the Cat's Meow is a yellow with a golden yellow with 2 tones of blue, a hot pink. I call that hot pink. You know, one of the tones of the yellow is mustard, and then the other is a light pink color. So you have those, that, you know, light pink, hot pink next to it. And they show the square on here, what it looks like. So the Full Spectrum doesn't have the pink. So yeah, and now to show you the ones that I had already shown you in a previous video. Oh, and how did I like it? I like it. I think it came out pretty nice. So that was a win for me. They're Flower Power yarn. Again, also the same specifications. Whoops. Let's show that a little better. See, that's the orangey one that I had already made the sample and shown you guys. And this was the blue one with the orange and yellow flower. And this one is actually rougher. No, it's about the same. This yarn feels a little rougher. And this one in particular feels rougher than others. And again, they leave you extra with these as well to seam or, you know, do your border. And this is the all-in-one Flower Power yarn from Red Heart. And this colorway is called Cataly Bronze. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Grande has also 12 colorways available. The Flower Power, let me see. They have 24 shades available of this Flower Power. So that's pretty cool. A lot of pretty, very pretty colors. This orange one is called Rosy Disposition. And it's a light orange, it's a peach with like a medium shade of orange and then a darker, much darker orange. So, and that's what that looks like. And then last but not least, the one that started it all was their regular Red Heart all-in-one Granny Square. And like I mentioned, this one, this one I had to use a 5.5 millimeter hook, the same with this. They don't leave you much yarn for your next color change. So a lot of people were complaining about that. So that's what that looks like. This is the regular sized one. I think they have 20 or 24 shades of this now, which is a lot. They keep coming out with more. So this is 5 rounds, same pattern. The specs are the same. And this colorway is called Soft White Citrus Twist. So that's that, and that's what the skein looks like. It's the white with orange, and then a hot pink, and a sort of like more mustardy yellow color. But I think it works out really nice. It looks nice. It is a little neonish bright, but, and, you know, this and this orange, sort of kind of go together a bit. You know, it sort of this white in here. Sorry, the white in here clashes, I think, a bit. Like if you were to do those two together. But the squares are the same size. These are 14. You have 14 squares out of one skein. Let me see if I find what size square it makes. Up to 14 squares. It doesn't really say in their info page. I'm not finding it right now. I think it's 5 inches. But, yeah. Again, like I said, it's convenient to not have to, you know, change all the time the yarn. Sorry, this is becoming a little long. It's almost done. So yeah, so those are the same size, the Flower Power and the Granny Square. And if you want to see the big one compared to the regular size one, see, it's the first 5 rounds. Sorry, this is like really hard to hold up and it's curling. So you'd have that, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And then if you see a little petite, that's like the first 3 rounds. So isn't that cool? Oop, there, it's centered. So, okay, folks, that's all I had to show you for this one. I'm sorry the video went a little long. I hope you enjoy. I'm sure everybody has their own opinion if this works for them or not, but I think it's a pretty cool, neat idea, and I like self-striping yarns. So, okay, thanks so much. Bye.